And welcome back. Well, in this session we're going to be creating the piece of geometry that fits in here. I don't actually know what to call it, whether it's the wheel guard or what, but it is this section that fits to the landing gear. Anyway, now we could of course model this using quite a variety of techniques. We could create a spline, and we could use Boolean with a spline, but I think for this one what we're going to do is actually use planes, not aeroplanes, but these little chaps over here. Okay, so let's get cracking. Right, first thing, up to our layers manager, into our front wing section. We can hide the front wing, that one there, and just want to unfreeze this for a moment. Select it, Alt X, put it into transparency, and we're going to freeze it again. Let's close that down. Now we're going to go into the bottom viewport, so that's B on the keyboard. Let's zoom in. And this is a section that we need to create. Let's grab ourselves a plane, into the viewport, left click with the mouse button, keep it pressed down, drag it out, then let go. Now we have used planes before when we was putting the reference material in the back. Then we use the keyboard entry to enter the parameters. This time we'll look at the parameters themselves down here. We've got length, we can adjust that, just click on the spinners there, increase, decrease. Likewise with the width, length, segments, I want that down to 1, width segments 1, and let's select our metal grey and say OK on that one. Think of a plane as a flat piece of paper that we can model. Okay, let's convert this to an editable mesh. Go up to root, open it up, and into vertex. Let's go Alt X so we can see through it. What I need to do now is grab W for our select and move. So we've selected that vertices there. All I'm going to do is drag this over to this point here, pull that one over, bring that down to about there, this one down here. Now this section here is part of the landing gear. Let's bring that down to there and down there. Right, so we've made a start. Now I'm going on to edge. I'm going to select that edge there, and if I press the shift key and then select that and pull out, we're extending that, so we're extruding it. Back into vertices, select that vertices there, just move it down a little bit, and this one here, and let's bring that up to there. In fact, this here, move that across. So this is how we're modeling this section here. Back to edge, it's already selected, press shift, let's extrude that out to there, move it up into position. Now of course we can select the rotate tool, click the grey line round there. We're just going to rotate this that way a little bit, then W for our select and move tool, let's bring that back. Now with the gizmo here, you'll see how if I go down here it turns a yellow colour. Now what that means is I can select it there and then move it like that. So I'm moving along that plane. I can't go up and down, just anywhere along that plane there. So let me just put that there. Of course, then I can go R for my scale tool. Let's just scale that in a little bit, about there. Back to W for our select, and let's just extrude that out again, bringing it back to there. I'll grab that little bit there, lining that up with the rotate. Just rotate that into position there. Let's select this edge now. W for our move tool. Helps if we press shift. Bring that out to about there. Line that one up there. Into vertices. Select that one, move it down to there. So you see how we're actually building all of this up now. We're selecting an edge and extruding it. Then we can modify it using the vertices or our tools up here, whether it's the rotate or the scale, and of course the move. I'll just get this finished off here. Now, it is an excellent way for modelling. In fact, you'll see many tutorials whereby people are using this method, particularly when it comes to faces, heads, and sometimes bodies. As you can see, it's all about, well, selecting your edges, your vertices, and your select and move tools. Okay, right. We've got this in position now. This last one, great. And let's pop up to root and into our front viewports, that's F. Zoom back a bit. And this is where our plane is that we've been creating. Obviously let's put it at the point 0 on our grid. So we need to bring it up, and you can see that white line there. There it is. Into position there. And now we need to go into our perspective viewport. Pan down a little bit. Rotate it round, and there you can see it. Now the reason we went up to our root for this is if we still had it on vertex or edge, when we moved it, we'd have actually moved that vertices instead of the whole of our piece of geometry. Okay, so now what we have to do is actually move into this and start positioning it into these places around here. Now, as you can see, we do have this nice sloping camber of our wing in this section. Okay, let's go to vertices. Zoom in. What I need to do is, there's a vertices there, so let's bring that up to about there to begin with, and this one. And this to me is what modelling is all about, working in 3D space. All I'm doing is bring these vertices up to the grey band, that thick greyish band there. Now you'll notice that all I'm doing is pulling them up. We don't have to move them left or right because we sorted that out in our bottom viewport. I'll just get these here. I don't really have to sort these out too much just yet. Get these behind here. Up we go, following that thick grey band there. And you see those are not touching there, so up they go, and that one there. Bring that there, and now we can start looking at this front section here. Let's pull those up to what is the camber of the wing. That's not looking too bad at all. Those are a bit high there, so pull them down. Yep, that looks good. Let's go Alt X to see it. Now, there we go. It's not looking too bad. And come up to Editable Mesh, and let's apply a shell. Okay, outer amount, we'll zero that, and we'll just take inner amount up. Let's have a look. 5, 8. Let's make it 0.1. And there we go. Well, nothing simpler than that, was there? And it's following that camber quite nicely there. Okay, well, mindful of the time, we'll bring this session to a close, and I think in the next tutorial we'll start on the wheel and the landing gear itself, and then we can attach all this and make sure it's housing properly within this section. Okay, I'll catch you then.